Welcome back to another edition of the Buzz Around Texoma. I'm Jason Taylor. We do appreciate you tuning in each and every week. We would ask that you would hit the like button, share it, and then subscribe. It is absolutely free, by the way. So just do that. It's all about things happening right here in Texoma, things that impact your life, my life, all of our lives as we live right here in this great place we call Texoma. This week, our guest, I'm proud to call him a friend of mine. I've known him a lot of years, and he is Oklahoma State Senator David Bullard from District 6. How you doing, man?
Yeah, we're doing good. You know, other than it being 100 and whatever degrees it is outside right now, we're doing great.
Right.
And we can wish it's not 100 degrees all we want. The reality is it's going to be 100 degrees until it quits. So you just stick it out.
All right. So the reason I've asked David to come in, because there's so much going on, not only in Oklahoma, but nationally as well. And, he deals with things in our great state here of Oklahoma. But you're up for re-election come November, correct?
Yeah. I've got a Democrat opponent in November, and we're working hard towards, one of the things I've learned a long time ago when I ran, one of the biggest complaints I heard was, you only come to us when you need your vote. And so I made it a point that I go to everything, whether I'm up for election or not. So we're not doing anything different. We're just out and about talking to people like we always do, but we're busy.
That's cool. All right. So, and how long have you served? How many years have you?
Yeah, so this is my 8th year in, and then we have term limits of 12 years, obviously, of course, which we've talked about before. 12 years is a little bit short. It kind of makes for a lobbyist run legislature and gives the agencies pretty good size leg up on us because they can just kind of wait us out. And we know this because they told us these things. But I'm in 8 years. I'm on my last term of the 12 years.
Can they change it from 12 to 16? How hard would that be?
Well, so that would actually require a vote of the people. We've got some coming up right now. We voted on one back during the primary. We'll have 2 on this coming runoff, and then you'll have more in November that you'll vote on. That one would either require an initiative where people could get enough signatures to go do it, or the legislature could pass it. I've actually written that to move it to 16 years, and I'm sure we're probably fixing to get into some of that, but we have earned the title of untrusted. And I got in 8 years ago because I didn't trust the government, and I'm still here because I don't trust the government. I look at the agencies, I look at the things around me. I have seen more. My eyes have been opened more to the corruption that's down inside government right now. And so 16 years would help us to be able to get around a lot of that corruption that you find in agencies and bureaucracies and rulemaking and everything under the sun. But we're not trusted enough. I don't know that the people would go for it. We'd have to do some research to find out, would people actually go along with that? Right. I think if you could get people to understand the problems that a 12-year term limit causes over 16 years, it would be a no-brainer and no problem. It's just really expensive to do that. So I don't know yet. We'll have to see. But I've authored it. We just gotta see if that's something that the people of Oklahoma want.
So David and I have known each other for many years. He actually taught my daughters at Denison High School, and so I know what he's about. But let me ask you this: so you theoretically could serve one more term. What do you do after that? Would you go national?
I don't know yet. We'll see. We have prayed about where the Lord would send me next. I actually miss teaching. I loved watching the light bulbs go off on kids and being able to connect. It was a lot of fun. I thought about getting back into the classroom when I'm done here because I miss it so much. But I got into this because of prayer, and I've told people this before. I don't find my identity with a title. I had a good friend of mine one time that told me, he said, make sure you wear the title, make sure the title never wears you. My identification is not found in somebody calling me senator. You know that. I'd rather y'all call me David than I would senator. I don't find my identity in that kind of a title. My identity is found in Jesus Christ. My identity is found in service in his name. So I'll go serve wherever he tells me to. It's just discerning it is the different deal. I've told people before, he has to deal with me drawing in stick figures and crayons because I'm not smart enough to discern his will. He's got to kind of point it out to me and show me. But usually it's just like this right now. I ask my wife every year, and is this worth it? And am I being effective? And every year she tells me, you've got to go back. And so that's how I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I have accountability partners that I talk to. Am I doing this God's way? Am I doing this? Am I a benefit to the state right now? So I have comfort in knowing that I'm exactly where God has me right now. And then I'll ascertain where that next step is later as I go. And then hopefully he shows me. That's always the concern.
That's great. We're talking with Senator Bullard from the Oklahoma State Senate. And I tell you what, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're actually going to get into a little bit of this trust thing and get his opinions on some things. It is the Buzz Around Texoma. It's all brought to you by Grandpappy Point Marina. Stick around. We'll be back after this. And welcome back to the Buzz Around Texoma, all brought to you by Grandpappy Point Marina and the Point Restaurant. I'm Jason Taylor. By the way, if you would like to be a guest on the Buzz Around Texoma, just email me, jason@klbcfm.com. We'd love to have you on. You can also email Lisa. Her email address is lisa@klbcfm.com. We'll get you scheduled. We're about all things Texoma. If you are you've got a new business, maybe there's an event going on, maybe you're serving the Texoma interests, hey, we would love to have you right here talking about those things. So as we do have Senator David Bullard from the Oklahoma State Senate with us, District 6, David, one of the things that you mentioned in the first segment was, trust may be a little waning. I would agree with that I echo that. And there's not a lot of trust in my profession, in the media, because it's obvious that the media is slanted one way or another. And it's just, as the average citizen tries to watch TV, listen to the radio, read newspaper, whatever, everything has a slant. And it's the same with politics, man. I mean, I don't trust anybody, it seems like, from either side of the aisle, because it just seems like they have their own self-interests. Do you see that from where you sit?
Oh, more now than ever. My eyes got opened up to the amount of corruption happening within even state government. And if I'm seeing it at the level I am at state government, the amount of people, and this is probably the number one thing, I absolutely hate dishonest gain.
Uh-huh.
Because what I see at the legislature is you have a lot of people who are enriching themselves and their families off of serving in government. Your job ought to be to get out. It was, I believe it was Calvin Coolidge who said, if you show me a man who came into Congress not wealthy and leaves wealthy, I'll show you a criminal. We have a lot of that happening right now within the legislature, and it's just rampant everywhere that you go. And I ran partially on that. I didn't really run mad. I felt called to run. I understand and know the Constitution, taught it for 15 years, spoke publicly on it 3 years before I ran. So I understand the constitutionality of issues. To be honest with you, if we got back to people who just followed the Constitution, you'd probably eliminate a lot of the distrust you have in government. Mm-hmm. But by the way, if you distrust government, welcome to being an American, right? You can go back and read about our founders. Mm-hmm. Go back and read the Declaration of Independence. That is a breakup letter from Thomas Jefferson to the king about how bad a monarchy-style government sucks.
Right.
And they created a limited government. That was their goal. Now, keep in mind, This is what I try to remind a lot of my conservative friends. They never were anarchists, right? They believed in some government, but that government ought to have a limited role. Mm-hmm. And so I talk to people a lot about that. Just go read the Declaration. Everybody knows that one line, right? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by who? Their Creator, with certain unalienable rights, and that among those are the right to life, liberty, and property. What's the next line? Most people can't tell me. I can see you're searching for it right now.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the question.
Yeah, this is a quiz.
Yes.
Now, what? And to protect these freedoms, governments are created amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So you send me as a representative. Keep in mind, we are not a democracy. Democracies are what the founders were scared of.
They're a republic.
Just go read it. We're a republic. And that means you elect me to go up there and institute what's called a rule of law. Mm-hmm. We institute laws that everybody's going to have to follow. And so you have to have some semblance of trust within that when you send them up there. But the understanding is it's just kind of like Madison wrote in Federalist Papers 51. In Federalist Paper 51, he said, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. But he went on later to explain, we are asking people to go up and we're giving them all this authority over us. And then at the very next breath, we're telling them to control who? Themselves.
Amen.
We don't have a lot of that right now. That's the part that concerns me when I see it. We have a lot of people who just do whatever they want. And you're seeing it in the elections. You get these little fancy, glossy flyer cards, right? Mm-hmm. How much of those do you think are honest?
Oh, none.
None?
None.
They're not telling you the truth, and we know that they're not telling you the truth. Then why do they send them out? Because we have people out there who buy them and believe them and not do their research and find out. Well, if you have somebody who's not even going to have honesty and integrity to the thing that they send and put in my mailbox, how much more integrity will they have when they get up there to go serve you behind closed doors? Right. And what we find are there are a lot of those people who will go say that they're one thing on a flyer and put it in my mailbox and come knock on my door. And then when they go stand behind closed doors, they don't want it. Tax cuts have been one of the biggest things I've seen. We've had people who have said, no. Don't cut taxes. We need that revenue. The government needs that revenue. You're a Republican who ran on a platform that says we believe in cutting taxes. We believe the taxpayer knows how to better to spend their money than the government does. And that's not a bad statement. That's a really true statement. Mm-hmm. You're going to spend your money and invest it in the economy and things and your kids much better than your government's ever going to do. But keep in mind, we're not anarchists, right? So we do need some money to operate off of, but supply side economics works. The more we cut for you, the more money we get in as a government. That's just the way that it works, because the economy spins up and gets bigger. We have more to spend. Right. Happens every time we do it. So there's not a lot of trust in it, because you very seldom find someone who will be exactly what they say they'll be. President Trump, like him, love him, hate him. I love him. Don't agree with everything that he's done. But there's in his office, in the Oval Office, above the doorway, he had a sign made that said, "Keep your promises." And I believe that man has gone in and fought like a lion to keep those promises. And I've learned a lot from watching him on that. It means you're going to have to make some tough decisions. But if you say you're this, if you say you're going to do it, then go do it. And so, but there's just not a lot of them up there to do it. When I went in, there were 4 or 5 of us that voted together and voted exactly who we said that we were on that flyer. Right now, we're up to maybe 15, 16. We're growing right now, and you can, and actually
that's actually a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Unfortunately, it has been shrinking in the years past.
Well, we have actually looked. What we have found is if we find people who have a biblical worldview, mm-hmm. are independently minded, it means that they're going to think for themselves and be what they said that they're going to be. When you have people that are controlled by the lobbies and the PACs and the special interest groups up there, they're going to do whatever those special interest groups tell them to do, and a lot of times that goes in opposition of what they said that they were. So it's a difference of whether or not you can be.
So touching on that, to play devil's advocate, okay, mm-hmm. going back to the first segment, you were talking about terms limits, and it's 12 for the state of Oklahoma, and you'd like to see it at 16. I understand where you're coming from that, but when you're talking about special interest groups, mm-hmm. if they can get their hooks into you early, that's 16 years that I have to suffer, because that's a someone who's taking money from a special interest group that's not serving my interest.
Right. So you'd actually have them longer. So I think what you're already saying, and I don't disagree with you, that's part of the threat, and it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm not going to deny that wouldn't happen. What would also happen, though, is the independently minded ones that we're growing the numbers of in the legislature and in the Senate, those independently minded people would be in there longer as well. Okay. So it's a better chance to flip them. It's a better chance to get a look at who they're really going to be. But you're obviously going to have those that are going to keep them. The problem you have right now is at 12 years, a lobbyist can walk in there and they can delay us long enough till I'm gone. Yeah. And they've told me this. They have come to me and said, I'll wait you out. That's not a problem. And the agencies are the same way. If they can just wait us out as an independently minded person, it means that right now you've codified more of a lobby-centric or a lobby-led legislature right now. So
we're talking with Senator Bullard from District 6 of the State Senate here in the great state of Oklahoma. So we've been talking about people getting elected. There's a difference between an elected official and a bureaucrat.
Big.
Okay. Do you think the bureaucrats are really an even bigger part of the problem?
Yes. We've had people refer to that as the fourth branch of government, mm-hmm. but they're not elected. They're not even nominated, most of them. They're just hired and brought in. So they don't, the idea of a republic is the accountability ought to be with the voter, right? Going back to that line, that to protect these
being able to vote against you, who I voted you in, if you're not doing the job.
If you said that you're going to be this way and you're not that, then the advantage is I have an ability to go in and vote you out. Mm-hmm. But go back to the Declaration, that line, that to protect these freedoms, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from who? The consent of the governed. I go up there and do exactly what I told you to do, and if I don't, y'all ought to vote me out. Get rid of me. Because the problem is that you have is the lobby arm right now is so strong within the state of Oklahoma, it's really tough to vote any coming out, even if they aren't who they say that they are. So, it's really, really difficult to do. We used to do these in class, the statistics, take it from a federal level to prove what I'm talking about. In the House and Senate, it's right around 90% of incumbents get reelected every single time. 90%. Now, let me ask you a different question. Do you think the federal government is working to serve you at the full capacity that they should be doing?
Absolutely not.
Then how are they getting reelected? Well, the answer is they've got millions of dollars to go in there and lobby and get people out. And it's happening right now. We've got people that are independently minded, conservatives, doing exactly what they said that they do. And we have leadership in the Senate is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to take them out. Why? Because they won't just fall in line. They think for themselves, but they've got enough money to go take them out. And that's the problem.
That is a
huge problem.
Yes, very huge. Hey, you know what? I didn't even get to scratch the surface. Some of the things I'm going to talk. Could you stick around and do another?
Happy to.
Great. Okay. We got Senator Bullard with us from Oklahoma State Senate. Hey, stick around. We will be back next week with part 2 of Senator Bullard here on the Buzz Around Texoma, all brought to you by The Point Restaurant. Until then, I'm Jason Taylor.